The 3 secrets to getting more family law and collaborative divorce clients with webinars and Facebook groups. Secret number 1, how to get family law clients using webinars and Facebook groups on autopilot. Webinars are really the secret weapon when it comes to content marketing and lowering that threshold that we talked about. They deliver tremendous value. They're authoritative. They're very engaging, and they leverage audience so that you can engage with and market to a group of people all at one time. They enhance credibility, and the best thing about them is that when they're done as an automated webinar as opposed to a live webinar, they run on autopilot. They can be working for you 24/7, 365 days a year. They can either be recorded, you can do a live webinar, record it, and then turn it into an automated webinar, or you can simply record it from the start to be used as an automated webinar and upload it to the system, and then you put it all together, and it can run just on autopilot without any further work from you. And that's what's so great about automated webinars. And they have a higher attendance rate than typical live webinars. Typically, you can have 100 people register for a live webinar that's 4 or 5 days out, and only about 20 to 30 will actually show up. But when you do an automated webinar, you have multiple time slots every single day, and when someone registers, let's say it's Wednesday the 13th, they've got one here at 1 p.m. You can actually have it so there's one starting every hour, so that your attendance rates go way up with the automated webinars, because people don't have to wait, they don't forget about it, and they get to attend it when they're hot and when they're interested. The anatomy of a successful webinar is to choose a topic, design your webinar presentation, offer something of extra value during the webinar. You have to create a registration page, develop confirmation and reminder emails, either present your webinar live or set up automated delivery. And then, this is very important, follow up after the webinar. We're going to talk about these things in more detail. Choosing a webinar topic. If you want to get a lot of people to show up to your webinar, you need to choose something that's going to resonate with your typical client. And you meet with your potential clients every day. You know what's on their mind. What I would do is I would think about, what are the top 3 questions that potential clients ask me when they come in for a consultation? There's got to be a common thread. And if so, I would choose one of those topics, because you're going to get the most people in attendance that way. You need to present on something that people want to learn about, and that's going to get their attention. You want to pay a lot of attention to the title that you use for your webinar. And my recommendation is to, when you sit down and think about the questions people have when they come in for a consultation, look for common language even. Are there certain words that they use? And if possible, and if there's a common thread, use those actual words in the title of your webinar, and you will substantially increase your attendance. And they also need to be evergreen, of course. You want to run something that's still going to be valid, a year from now, 3 years from now. Okay, design your webinar presentation. You want to have you don't want to just throw something together. You want something that's going to be professional, that's going to be eye-opening, and provide real value. I designed, here's just a screenshot of this webinar that you're watching now. A lot of successful webinars are designed in PowerPoint. If you don't have PowerPoint, Google's got a free version, I believe, in Google Docs. And typically webinars, you don't need to be live on camera. You can create slides just like we've done with this webinar. And actually, what's great about PowerPoint is that once you've created your slides, you can actually record a movie that you'll use for your automated webinar just by going up to Slideshow and record slideshow. Record from beginning. You start recording it, you hook a microphone up to your computer, and you sit there and talk and give your presentation while you advance through the slides, and then PowerPoint's going to save that as a movie file. And the webinar platforms that we're going to talk about will let you upload that file, and it's all going to integrate together, and the webinar platforms that I recommend are very, very good and at making it resemble a live event. And honestly, most people attending are not going to realize that it's pre-recorded. They're going to think it's live. And I typically don't say it is live, and I don't say it isn't. I just say it's a webinar. In fact, some of the webinar platforms, the one I recommend, will even, if you're not doing it live and you don't have one that's been pre-recorded from a prior live event, if you just uploaded it like this, they will even have numbers there to mimic attendance, that it will rise and fall and so on. Now, the anatomy of a successful webinar also includes offering something of extra value during the webinar. A special offer, free content like an ebook, which we just talked about, a newsletter, and then of course a private Facebook group. This is just an image of another checklist that we created for a client in the past. Something like this would be great. Tell people that if they stay for the entire webinar, you're going to give them a link to download your pre-divorce checklist or something like that, and that lets you provide something of value. And it's really best to provide something that's not available anywhere else, so that you can really say, stay till the end of this webinar and you're going to get this. We'll talk more about private Facebook groups, of course. Once you've got all that done, you want to create a registration page. The webinar platforms tend to make that really easy, but that should include a description of the webinar, the date and times, the speaker, how to sign up, and what they will learn from attending. That's really important, that you have bullet points, or as you remember on this webinar, underneath the video and information, I listed out secret 1, you're going to learn this, secret 2, you're going to learn this, and so on. And that can really help to increase your registrations and your attendance as well. Confirmation and reminder emails are critical. Once a user registers for the webinar, they should receive a confirmation email, even if it's starting within minutes. The email can include the event reminders that sync with the attendee's personal calendar, reminding them of the correct day and time. And you can use your follow-up emails to provide additional details and to entice users to invite others to the event as well and create additional awareness. Follow up after the webinar. This is really, really important. And the good webinar platforms will sometimes integrate all this for you, so that you can segment your emails. If someone registers for the email but they don't go to it, you can have one email that goes out to them. If they register for the email but they don't stay to the end, you can have a different email go out to them. If they watch the replay, you've got an email for that, and so on. And so by segmenting your emails based on their behavior, you can really increase the engagement afterwards and funnel people in the direction that they need to go to continue building that relationship with you. Facebook groups are one of the most powerful things that you can do on Facebook. We talked about how the old way of posting doesn't work, posting links to articles and things like that. And I can go into detail about why it is, but the truth is, you can have 300 people who like your Facebook page, who follow your Facebook page, and the majority of those don't see your post. And actually that's impacted a lot by your engagement. So, if when you make posts to your Facebook page and you only get 1 or 2 likes, and you've got hundreds of people that follow your page, Facebook sees that and they say, it doesn't look like the people that are following this page really want to see their content, so we're not going to show it to them, because they want people to see content that they like, so they'll stay on Facebook. So, probably less than 1% are actually seeing the posts that you do on your regular Facebook page. But with Facebook groups, private groups, it's a totally different story. You get a much higher rate of people seeing your content when you're the administrator, when you're the owner of the page. You can pin post to the top so that everyone sees it. And what's really cool with Facebook currently, with closed groups, when you make a post and you're the administrator, you can actually look and see which people viewed each post. It'll tell you exactly how many people saw it and also who they were. It's fantastic. Here's just some various groups that I looked up. Support divorce and starting over, 18,000 members. 40 plus women divorce support group, 5.8 thousand. Here's a law firm, Weinberger Divorce and Family Law Group, has 7.3 thousand people that are in this group. Separation, divorce, marriage, relationship support, 2.2 thousand members. Here's divorce, separation, and relationships, 383,000 members. You can see that Facebook groups are just an amazing opportunity, and because people are out there looking for these. You don't even have to market your group. You create a group on Facebook, people are going to start joining. I've had clients say that they're afraid no one's going to join. You put it out there, they're going to join, and it's going to slowly grow organically on its own, because nothing respects the platform better than a Facebook group. I've talked about how if you want to be successful on social media, you've got to respect the context of the media, and people don't go to Facebook to buy stuff. They don't go there to hire attorneys. They go there to be entertained, to socialize digitally with other people, to engage and communicate. And so we've talked a little bit about this, but why are Facebook groups so effective? Engagement that respects the platform. Secondly, direct access and reach, which I also talked about briefly. When you own a Facebook group, your post reach is you reach a much higher percentage of the members. You have the undivided attention of the members. You're the expert, and you can achieve exponential growth on autopilot as people find it through organic searches, as members share it with their friends. That's how you get the exponential reach. If you can give people incentives to go out there and share it with others, then it can really grow fast. Secret number 2 is why this works. And I've talked a little bit about that already as well. It lowers the threshold. A Facebook group appeals to anyone, regardless of what stage of that journey that they're in, whether they're just starting to contemplate whether divorce is an option for them, or whether they're getting to the stage where they think they want to talk to somebody and consult with a lawyer. Secret number 3, how to set up a system in only a few hours that will work for you on autopilot to generate a consistent and predictable stream of new consults. Obviously, we talked about step 1, create your webinar and your funnel and your follow-up. Build your webinar in PowerPoint, record it, use one of the webinar platforms, and get it set up in there. We talked a little bit about how you can present your first one live so that you get greater engagement and just energy, or you can record your slideshow while doing a presentation and upload it to an automated webinar platform. Either way is fine. Most people, if they've not done one before, would prefer to just record it so they can get it perfect, and then upload it and not have to spend the time. Some of the webinar platforms that are good, that are established, and that you can trust are EverWebinar, Webinar Jam, Zoom, Easy Webinar, Webinar Ninja, and GoToWebinar. I prefer currently EverWebinar, just because of it's just so easy. Anybody can sign up for EverWebinar, take your video file that you've made with PowerPoint and quickly upload it. It's just if you can point and click and navigate a computer, you can do that. It's just so easy. Then step 3 is to create a Facebook group around your area of practice or a specific problem that people experience within your area of practice. And that's so easy. If you go to your Facebook profile, down on the left-hand side, all the way at the bottom, you'll find under Explore, Groups, Events, and so on. And then down here you can see Create Group, and you just go through the steps. I recommend naming it, having something to do with your area of practice. You should do some research. Look at some of the Facebook groups that are out there and that are successful, like divorce support groups and so on. You can put your law firm's name in there if you want to, but just make sure that it also says divorce support or divorce resource or something like that. You want it to become a community, and you don't want it to have any hint of being a place where you just promote your practice. Step 4, create a Facebook ad promoting your webinar and funnel to people in your Facebook group. actually that's a typo. I don't mean that you want to make an ad to the people in a Facebook group. You want to advertise, if you're going to use Facebook ads at that $5, $10 rate, you want to advertise to everybody in your county who maybe is, there's a number of demographics, but you don't want to just advertise to the folks in your group. You've already got those folks. You've got their attention. Facebook ads are a great way to get new people signed up for your webinar. And what I recommend is running Facebook ads for your webinar, getting people registered for your webinar, and then in the initial, in one of your follow-up emails when it's over, then you can say, hey, I've got a Facebook group that you might find helpful as well, and funnel them towards your Facebook group in your emails. You can even put it in your registration email. You can also mention it during your webinar. You want to say, please also go over and join our Facebook group where you'll meet, other like-minded people and so on. So you want to run ads promoting your webinar and use your webinar registration to generate that lead and then funnel them from there into your Facebook group. And then you can continue engaging with them and building that relationship in the Facebook group. And here's just a little graphic of what I'm talking about. You might have Facebook ads. You might have, a blog post or an ad on your website talking about your webinar. So you're going to send traffic to your webinar registration page. You're going to send them an email which has their registration information, a link to where they go and watch the webinar, and also an invitation to join your Facebook group. And then when it comes time for your webinar, you'll send out another email to them, reminding them of the webinar, saying, here's the link, we're going to be getting started soon. They attend the webinar, and then you follow up with additional email afterwards, which can be segmented based on their behavior. If they didn't watch the webinar, you might want to send them a link to your replay, maybe ask them why not. If they did watch it to the end, ask them what they thought. Ask them if they joined the Facebook group and so on. The follow-up is just so important.